Welcome to our Building Early Language channel. Our Give Me 5 newsletter provides ample opportunities for you to work on oral language with your child. Hi, I'm Kendra.
And I'm Melody. Our Give Me 5 strategies are simple 5 things that you can do with your child every day. Talk, read, play, create, and sing. Build in opportunities for you to enhance your child's vocabulary through oral language, building a future for later academic success. Remember, we want you to
Give me 5.
The first thing in Give Me 5 that we want to discuss with you today is talk. Talk seems so simple. We talk to people every day. We talk to our children every day. But hopefully you understand the critical nature of talking. Talking lays the foundation for language as they begin to go to school. You're creating pathways in their brain as you add different types of language, whether it's new vocabulary words or whether it's the rhythm and cadence of language like Kendra's going to talk about in singing. But we just want to talk about talking right now. Talking is the most critical thing that you can do with your child every day. I want to read you a little excerpt out of a book called Beyond Baby Talk. And it says, parents are the primary language role models for their children. I know you're about to send your child to school, or you've already done that, and teachers do play a critical role, but you are your child's first teacher and you are a great role model for them. Listen to this next sentence. Language involves more than just a child's vocabulary. It involves the sounds we use, the sentences we make, the words we read and write, and the way we use language to get what we want. We all know that little bitty baby that points to something on the shelf. Perhaps it's an apple like we're going to talk about in a minute, and it points and makes a sound, and we know they want an apple. Children learn to communicate from a very young age just by the language that they've been exposed to. And I do have this nice basket of apples in front of me, and that's what we're going to talk about today. You can use apples to talk to your children about lots of concepts that they're going to learn about in school. If I say apple, you may think of a red apple. That red delicious apple is the quintessential apple. I think it's buried in my basket down here. But you know, there are yellow apples and green apples. I'm digging for that red delicious apple. There it is. Maybe this is the apple that you picture in your mind when I say apple. And maybe that's what your child thinks of. But there are other kinds like Granny Smith, Yellow Delicious. When I think of a Yellow Delicious apple, I think of my granny's apple pie, because that's the kind of pie, that's the kind of apple that she always used to make that pie. But did you know that there are more than 7,500 kinds or varieties of apples in the world? And while we do want your children to learn that there are red, yellow, and green apples, we want them to learn so much more. So you can begin by talking about the color, but then you can talk about the taste. Some apples are sweet, some apples are tart. This Granny Smith apple, just thinking about it, makes my mouth just pucker up thinking about how tart that apple is. So you can talk about different tastes. You can talk about the texture. After we cook an apple, it's soft. When you eat a raw apple, it makes a nice loud crunch. And an apple is almost a sphere. You know, it's not a perfect sphere like a baseball or a basketball or the earth, but it does have that general shape. Oh, but there's so much more that you can talk about with apples. You could talk about the stem, you could talk about the leaves, you can talk that it grows on a tree, you can talk about all the different parts of the world where we grow apples. Here in Oklahoma, we do grow some apples, but other states like New York and Washington State grow many apples. That's so much. You might not want to talk to your 4-year-old about all of that in one day, but the next time you have an apple, think about what you want to say to your child to help them increase their vocabulary, therefore building that oral language foundation that will help them succeed in school. The second activity in Give Me 5 is read. When you think about sending your kid to school, all kids want to learn how to read. That's what they are so excited to learn how to do when they first begin going to school. But did you know that foundation for reading begins so early in their life? You should begin reading to your child from birth. We're going to talk today about some important things to look at when you're selecting books. I love to buy books. I might be a book hoarder, but did you know that you don't have to spend money on books? You can go to your... The language of books is very different than ordinary speaking. Quality picture books have rich, complicated, robust language with complex and compound sentences. Children need to be exposed to this type of language before they enter school. You need to choose quality picture books, and I want to show you an example of just a few. There are two types of books to choose from. We can choose nonfiction books. Those are books that are true and that are full of facts. One of my favorites to read is Apples by Gail Gibbons, and I just want to share a couple of pages with you. If you remember earlier, I said that there were about 7,500 varieties or kinds of apples. Here, this page illustrates just a few. There are Rome Beauty, Macintosh, Red Delicious. Remember, I had to dig for that one in the basket. Golden Delicious, my granny's favorite for the apple pie. Granny Smith, Stamen, Jonathan, and York. Can you name some others like Fuji, Pink, Golden Delicious? Oh, I already said that one. I must have Granny's apple pie on my mind. The other page that I want to highlight in this book is this nice, vivid illustration, and it has all of the parts of the apple labeled. That's something when your child gets into science class that they will really delve into, the different parts of fruits and vegetables and plants. And so telling them the parts at a very young age gives them some background knowledge to bring to their science classes. Nonfiction books are great, and Gail Gibbons always does a great job at whatever topic that she takes on. You can find lots of her books at the public library. And then I want to tell you about a couple of other little books. This is a narrative. It's just a story. Narratives have character, setting, and plot. This one's called The Biggest Apple Ever, and the characters are mice. The setting is they're at school in an apple orchard. And usually a narrative has a problem, and I just want to tell you what the problem of this story is. Let me go to the first page. It says, once there were two mice who fell in love with the same apple pie, but you had to be there to see how it happened. On opening day at Mouseville School, the principal, Mr. Mouser, made an announcement. We will be learning about apples this fall to get things started. Just like you are, apples go with fall. We will have a contest. Whoever brings in the biggest apple to his teacher will win a special prize. And there you go. We have the problem identified. Who is going to bring the biggest apple to school? This might be a good book that you want to check out at your local public library, so you can find the answer to The Biggest Apple Ever. So as we wrap up talking about reading to your child, I would like to leave you with two thoughts. As you're choosing a book to read, think, am I building background knowledge for my child? You might want to get a nonfiction book. If you want to introduce them to some complex vocabulary and complex sentence structure and new characters and problems in the world, you might want to choose a story or a narrative like The Biggest Apple Ever. Those are two things to think about when you're choosing books.
One of the activities in the Give Me 5 newsletter is to creating a recipe or an art project gives you an added chance to have a conversation with your child. Bringing in vocabulary during the creation of this activity brought in words like brush and stroke. This lacing activity gives Brecken a chance to work on his fine motor skills. During this activity, the vocabulary that we used were directional words: between, in, out, above, below, top, and bottom. Lots of opportunity to use these directional words in this activity. We're going to make an activity that you're going to end up playing. But first we have to make it. We're going to make an apple. What color are apples?
Red.
Red. So I want you to take this brush. This is this paintbrush. Is this the kind of paintbrush that we use to paint the walls? Oh, it would take us a long time to paint a wall with that paintbrush, wouldn't it? But when we paint little surfaces, we use little brushes like that, okay? So this is the surface. This is the part you're going to paint. And you're going to paint it what color?
Red.
Because what? What are red?
Apples.
Apples are red. So I want you to start using that brush, and I want you to go in the same direction, and I want you to start painting strokes of red.
Like that?
Like that. Now let me show you something. When we paint, we get a lot of paint on the paintbrush, and we go long strokes. Because if you take a little short strokes like that, it's going to take you a long time. I like the way you're going in one direction. Okay. This is our apple we made, and we cut holes in it. Remember when we cut the holes in it? And we added a stem. And what are these?
The leaves.
The leaves. And what did we attach to that?
Worm.
A worm, because worms love to eat apples, don't they? So this is a lacing activity. So I want you to go in and out and in and out, any hole you want to go into. Now I want you to weave this worm in and out of these holes, like he goes in the hole and he goes out the hole. Ready? Pull it tight. He's going, is he going out? Because he's coming out the apple, isn't he? Now have him go in the apple. Nope, this way. This way. We just came through this hole. Now I want you to go through the hole that's over this one, above that one. Very good. That's right. Now I want you to go through the one that's on the, one of them that's on the bottom of the apple. Where's the bottom? Now, do you think we can make it go between anything on this side? Well, how can we go between? Can we make him go between these? Yeah, pushing.
What?
Look, have him go between these. Oh, looky there what we did. And then in that one at the very top. Good job. Another activity in the Give Me 5 newsletter is play. Think about adding specific conversation to the games you play with your child. The apple tree game that Brecken's going to play encourages me to use vocabulary such as right and left, longest and shortest, and the color words that are associated with the apples. There you go. Okay. We're going to do a game. We've got, what do we have down here on this floor?
Apples.
Apples? And those apples are in a what? What is this whole big thing called?
A tree.
A tree. And what kind of tree is it?
Apple.
It's an apple tree, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So, since you know the difference between your right hand and your left hand, I'm going to use those directional words, okay? And I'm going to tell you what to do. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go up the left side of the tree. Oh, gotcha. Go up the left side of the tree to the smallest branch and pick up that apple. Smallest. It's really the shortest branch. I'm sorry. Put it in the basket. Very good. What color was that apple?
Yellow.
Yellow. Go up the right side of the tree, and I want you to go down the longest branch and grab that apple. What color is that apple?
Red.
Red. Very good. Now I want you to go up the right side of the tree. Right. right side of the tree, and I want you to go to the shortest branch that's got an apple on it. Bring it back to me. What color is that apple?
Yellow.
Yellow. Are yellow apples yummy? Do you like yellow apples better or red apples better?
Red.
Red? Do you think they're sweeter?
Yes.
Oh. Come up the left side of the tree and grab me a green apple. Singing with children brings in the cadence and the rhythm of our language. Songs are full of rhyming words, words that sound the same at the end, an important skill for students to have. In this song, Way Up High in the Apple Tree, there's a specific word, crunch, a great vocabulary word for our students to learn. Apples are crisp, that's why they make a crunching sound. The word crunch represents a sound. Bananas aren't crisp, so they don't make a crunching sound. This kind of vocabulary is very important for you to bring into your conversations with your children. Watch as we sing this song, Brecken and I. This is the second time Brecken's heard this song, so it's a new song to him, and he will actually act just like your children will the first or second time they hear this song. We're gonna sing a song now about apples, okay?
What a lovely day. Who wants to go apple picking?
Ooh, way up high in the apple tree, I saw 5 apples looking at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came 1 apple, and it was good. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Way up high in the apple tree, I saw 4 apples looking at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came 1 apple. It was good. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Way up high in the apple tree, I saw 3 apples looking at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came 1 apple. And it was good.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Up high in the apple tree, I saw 2 apples looking at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Came 1 apple. It was good.
Crunch, crunch,
Crunch. Way up high in the apple tree, I saw 1 apple looking at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came 1 apple. It was good. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Now there's no more apples in the apple tree.
No more apples.
No more apples.
I hope you enjoyed watching the videos that we've shared with you today. They were great fun in making. We had lots of takes in them. They introduced you to my grandson, Brecken. Please understand, the videos involving Brecken were 1 takes. He had no prep time. We got him, a 6-year-old active little boy, to sit still for just a few minutes during the videos. How would your child react to doing these activities?
I so agree with Kendra. We had so much fun making this video. Brecken was the star, just 1 take for him. You should see our blooper reel. You might not have learned very much from that, but we sure had fun doing it. We hope that you have fun with the suggestions that we've given you for Give Me 5. Remember every day that you should talk, read, play, create, and sing with your child. That builds their oral language foundation. Oral language is vital for your child's future academic success. To be a successful student, your child is going to need to learn to read, and a child must take language to school in order to read. As you do all of the activities in Give Me 5, you are ensuring your child's future academic success. So remember, Give Me 5.